Tell us how you find all of these pieces.
There are no bounds that we will not go to find them. Sometimes we'll be digging through trash bags at estate sales. There was a bunch of 60s pieces that we have hanging up on the sweater rack that were sitting behind a gal at one of the estate sales that I went to, and I asked her about them because I saw a little piece of cloth poking out of them. And she told me that those were all the pieces that were too old to go out for sale, and they were going to get trashed. So I was like, can I pick through that real quick? And I ended up finding a trove of things. But to further answer your question, estate sales, garage sales, some of the stuff just gets given to us because they end up in grandma's basement and folks don't know what to do with them. We do a lot of thrifting. We'll do online buys occasionally, but those are going to be more for specific pieces or if we're having trouble finding specific sizes. But we really try to handpick every piece that's in here.
Okay, yeah, because there's so much stuff out there for you guys to find, so you really don't need to go to online. So that's perfect.
Right, and the treasure hunt is kind of the allure of why we open this too.
Yes. So what's that feeling like going for that treasure hunt?
It's I opened up a store based off of it, so it's truly rewarding, especially when you find these little treasure troves of like time capsules. We kind of just found one in Midland, and I ended up buying all of the articles of clothing that they had for sale. But it was essentially this lifetime of a clothing collection that these folks had collected from the early 60s onward. So when you find something like that, it feels amazing. And then a lot of times folks will kind of keep up with the times. So when you go in, there are a lot of modern pieces. It can be a letdown, but the rush of finding like the big pieces and the big rarities is enough to keep you plowing through the not so good times.
Yeah. So talk about how vintage kind of like gives you a difference like in your individuality.
Yeah, I could speak on that topic for days, but as far as just the rarity of the pieces, some of the stuff we'll never see again. So it's it definitely offers uniqueness to your shopping experience, and knowing that any piece that you pick, we can't just go and order again. It's the only one that we've got in shop likely. So finding doubles of things is very difficult, or if you're looking specifically for specific pieces, it can get very expensive, which is again where the treasure hunt really is exciting. The quality of the clothing, I can't speak enough to. A lot of the stuff is US made, so there's just a quality there. And also from years of wear and tear and things, they tend to get really thin and really soft, which is super comfortable on the body, and it just wears a lot less boxy than like a traditional modern day manufactured shirt would. And then you just get, even with the jeans and everything else, you just get like this higher quality, this higher caliber. So if you can handle things like small holes and small stains and stuff like that, you're really getting a better piece of clothing.
Well, sometimes that's the one thing that makes it the best, right? That small hole or stain,
Truly.
Gives it character, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how has you being in vintage, helped you develop your own personal style?
I think it's forced me to think outside of the box a lot, where you're finding these pieces and it's you're kind of thinking of how to stylize them a little bit different. Like this, I just put this together before you got here, but it kind of forces you out of the box because again, you're not finding a lot of these pieces ever again. So it's not like I can go get just this outfit at Walmart or something anymore. It's another define. No, that's going to be a vintage tag.
For real, vintage.
So I think it forces you to kind of think outside of the box, and a lot of these patterns aren't manufactured for a very long time either. So trying to figure out how to match them together is really a fun part of the process. But my first love, I take the easy route out of that, but graphic tees are always awesome because they're just big statement pieces that you can easily throw on, and almost like I hate to compare it this way, but like a removable tattoo that you can like kind of replace every time you want to make a different statement to the world.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you've essentially turned your hobby into a business, what does that mean to you?
I think it validates a lot of the, sometimes when you're doing this, you feel like you're hoarding because you don't necessarily pick up pieces that fit you. And it's more for the style, and you've got this bigger picture in mind. So for it to go from being in totes all these years to actually being out on display, and to get that validation from people that come in, and knowing that they're also into this style and it's stuff that they're interested in, and like we get a lot of folks that come in from out of town too. That are we had some folks that came in from Reese that said that they were looking at thrift haul videos on YouTube. And they just looked up vintage shop in general, and they said they were expecting to have to drive down to Detroit to find something like that. And for us to be here was a huge, you know, not relief. What's the word I'm looking for? It gave value to what they were doing and gave them a reason to come visit downtown and shop with us. So I'd say it's validating and rewarding to be able to continue the treasure hunt every day. And
now, are you? Oh, I'm sorry. Now, are you from the Bay City area?
Yeah. Yep. I was born in Saginaw and then moved to Bay City. I attended John Glenn High School. Graduated in 2008.
Yeah.
Yep. And then my wife and I moved all over the country for a couple of years. We were seasonal workers. I worked mostly in the outdoors industry, so guiding in like Colorado and in Maine. We lived in Alaska for a little while.
Wow.
So a lot of this stuff actually came. We never stopped collecting while we were on the road either.
I was just about to ask that, like, how did that fuel, you know, your urge to continue buying vintage?
It's fun. It's especially fun to see how other places purchase as well. Because in some of like the ski resort towns that we've lived and worked in, you'll see a huge influx in like Patagonia and like these higher end kind of pieces. Whereas towns like the Tri-Cities, we tend to find some awesome like old concert shirts and things like that, because there were so many cool venues like Swan Valley High School, I think was one. Central High School is another one that put on these shows for now large scale bands who were back in the days just kind of a speck on the map.
Yeah.
So it's fun to see again how the various areas change as you go thrifting.
Sure. Yeah, and with you and your wife being, you know, living all across the country, what does it mean for you to, you know, bring your vintage shop right here into downtown Bay City?
It feels great. Again, it's the whole idea from day one. I started here, and so it made sense for us to come back here. And after roaming around, it's something that I realized that Bay City in particular could make use of, just this kind of interesting and unique shopping experience. So all of our friends are still here, all of our family is still here as well. So it feels good to be back here and have that support system built in for us before we even opened up.
Awesome. All right, anything else you want to share?
No, come visit us, and we're super happy to be here. Angela and I will be here to help you guys out with all your vintage needs.
Yeah, tell folks how they can find you.
They can find us on Instagram at Bonejacked VTG, just all one word. We're also on the Facebook, or come see us at 512 Columbus Avenue in Bay City.
All right, well, thank you so much, Nicholas. Now, when we come back, we're going to check out some of the items around the store here, so stick around. Focus on 5. We'll be right back.